Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your weekly general with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby of mine, you know I absolutely love you for it. Thank you so much for being a part of Reydiant Reality. Thank you so much for being here. We're watching this video of mine. And thank you for making Reydiant Reality a community. For those of you, you know who you are, that are always here every week, every month. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys are a part of, what I've created. And really, if it, at base level, if it wasn't for you guys, I literally wouldn't be here. So thank you so much. So before we get into it, this week for the message for the week, when I went into my intuition, it was very, very clear. And it was quick, like really quick. It was like I just went in and then boom, it was like it just came up. And the message was, I've put this because it's actually the Hermetic symbol, or the spiritual symbol for water. And this week the message was really clear. What I saw was a downward facing triangle, and I saw all of the water flowing into it. Now, if you know anything about water, it always follows what it's put into, right? It will take the shape of whatever you put it into. And when you put water on the land, it will always sink to, it will find the lowest point, because it's, in effect, it's a magnetic, I don't want to say thing, because water is alive. It's a spirit, just like anything else. In fact, a very powerful and very beautiful spirit. This week, the message was to be like water. Be like the water. So this isn't about, it can be about magnetism. I mean, we talked last week about the spiritual nature of sending your energy out in order to have it reverberate back at you. Magnetism is slightly different. This is about drawing things to you by the very nature that you are, that you resonate, or the frequency that you resonate at. And this week, the message that I get from this about being like water is about allowing yourself to really be in that space of acceptance. Water is powerful, it's loving, it's kind, it's ferocious, and it can be dangerous. It can be all of those things rolled into one. But when you see it, it's naturally, in its natural state, it's naturally life-giving, life-affirming. Nothing that is considered alive can survive without water, right? So, I mean, that in itself kind of tells you everything that you need to know. But the message was to be like the water, to accept where you're taken this week, to accept what comes up. Now, I'm not talking about, somebody slaps you, turn the other cheek. I'm not talking about being a doormat. I'm talking about finding a true place and space within you to feel true acceptance for whatever you can't change, for whatever sometimes we meet an obstacle in life where you can't go over it, you can't go around it, you can't go through it. You just have to sit until it's removed for you. This is going to be that week for everybody. And, the fact that we have this message, be like water, be like the water. So, flow wherever it is that you're taken to, go wherever it is that you are moved to go to. When you feel something rising up that you feel, I can't get past this, or I don't know how I'm going to deal with this, surrender it, give it up, give it over. Allow yourself just to sit with it. I saw there's a film, I can't remember what it was once, but there were these two guys talking, and they come across a snail, and one guy says to the other, "Stop, he has the right of way." And it was really, really interesting, because the whole conversation that transpired between them was a learning moment for both of them. And this is why I say, whatever it is that's put in front of you this week, find a way just to accept it, just to be in that space, so that you can observe what it is that's happening, what's happening to you, what's happening around you, what you are in control of, what you're not in control of. When you are like water, you allow all things to flow. And, it's very much like our emotions as well. When we stop allowing allowing what we feel to flow, that's when we get into a state of dis-ease, right? And that is true for all of us. It's like what happens when you bottle up your emotions, right? So this is that week, right? What I'm saying to you, I know a lot of you are probably going to be like, Raf, I don't know, man. I don't know if you know what you're talking about, but, you know, sit with it and sit with me. All right. As always, I would like to bless my decks of cards. These ones seem to be calling me. With all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week, for our destiny card, or the overarching energy or theme, we have the Magician card, right? Now, one of the things that I love about the Magician card, it's a very powerful card, right? It's the herald of all things. It's the energy of creation itself, but it's the energy of creation as directed by us or by, some external force. The fact that we've got this as the destiny card this week is about communication. Now, Mercury's just gone retrograde, right? We know this is happening. So it's interesting that the card that represents Mercury would come up. Mercury isn't just about thought and thought processes. It's also about an unstoppable energy. Right? And when you think about the Magician, what is this? It's the shaping of the reality around you. And the fact that we have this as the destiny card this week, you need to find some way to communicate who you are and what it is that you're truly about. What it is that you really think and feel needs expression this week. Now, it may not come out the way that you want it to. And it may get misconstrued in the process in some respect. However, the fact that we've got the Magician card as the destiny card tells me that this week there is going to be a lot taking place, I would say, in the corridors of power on the wider world stage. We are probably going to have some very shocking news come out this week. Now, remember, the Magician card, much like Mercury, can be a little bit of a trickster. So this week you really want to keep your wits about you, just to ensure that whatever it is that you are told or whatever it is that you are hearing is something that actually resonates with you. And if it doesn't, ask yourself why. There is a reason. If there's something about it, i.e. your cognitive dissonance, that kicks in to say, I don't believe what I'm hearing, then you need to ask yourself why, right? Now, to cross or to aid that, this week I'm doing things slightly different just because of where we all are. We've got the Star card, right? So this week, we could see something happening on the wider world stage when it comes to the internet. We might see some new laws coming out. We might see some new form of censorship coming out. We may very well see this week, I'm just going to call it like I see it, we might even see a leak of certain information coming out on the wider world stage that could be very surprising, very shocking for a lot of people. So what I want to say to everybody on this note is keep your wits about you, but also be in a place. I don't need to say anything else. Right, you're going to have to find... it's just really, really interesting. I think this week some of the stuff that comes up may be very, very surprising, and I think some of the stuff that comes up may like I said, if your cognitive dissonance kicks in and you think, actually, you know what, I think this is a load of hogwash, then maybe there's some truth to that. However, if something appears to be so fantastical or so shocking and surprising that a part of you rejects it, ask yourself if that's because it's shattering a paradigm of what you realize is no longer true. That's what I want to say on that front. Now, on a sort of microcosmic level, to bring it down, this could be, sorry, they're cleaning my windows. I nearly had a heart attack then. On a personal note, on a more, what's the word? On a more microcosmic level, the Star card with the Magician card, this is about, finding an online tribe in some respect. It could be about information that comes out. It could be about you joining a group or connecting with a bunch of like-minded people. It could be about something that you have to say, or something that finally gets a voice, in your life in some way, shape or form, which is really, really exciting. So for our direction cards, how do we best utilize this energy? How can we use it to our advantage? And this week we have the King of Wands, right? So this week you've got to show up. This is a week to be 100% authentic. Now, this is really interesting that this comes up. With the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, we've got the Mars retrograde in Aries. Isn't it really interesting that the two signs that Mars rules both have a retrograde planet in them currently? You know, because Mars actually is the ancient ruler of Scorpio. Now, this card, as a specific sign, represents Aries, and the fact that we have Mars retrograde in Aries at the moment, I actually feel like is uncovering where the uses of power are either corrupt or no longer serving the people that they swear that they're supposed to. I mean, the whole of 2020 has revealed that narrative already, right? But this is also about being in your authenticity. It's also about allowing yourself to be seen. Now, because this comes up as a direction card, the feeling that I get from this more than anything else is it's like saying, whatever you do this week, right? Whatever, no matter what comes up, no matter how painful it is, no matter how much you think to yourself, oh my gosh, you know what are people going to think about me? Whatever it is that comes up and out about you, or something that you have to speak on, or something that maybe becomes public that you didn't want it to. I mean, I can attest to this, right? I spend a lot of my time on YouTube, and you know, there's things about everybody that they would rather not have out there. But if it should so be that it comes up this week, or something is mentioned and I have to discourse on something, I will do it. If this is about your practices, if this is, you know, because a lot of people have been asking me about that recently, and yes, I'm a proud pagan. I don't really share a lot about that path, just because really, there's a few reasons, but yeah, anyway, I realize this is going to be a very long video. But the message that I really feel coming off of that King of Wands for this week is that this week you have to remain in your integrity. You have to remain in your authenticity. And the reason I say this is because whatever is uncovered now, whatever is shared now, whatever is, you know, shared at a later date, people are going to remember who everybody was in these moments here. This week in particular, right across now until, let's say, the 21st of December, people are going to be very well aware of who was there for them, who was authentic, who was honest, who was open, who didn't jack up their prices while everybody was struggling. Do you know what I mean? Like, people who played the supporting role. All of this stuff is going to be seen. And the fact that we've got the King of Wands, this is asking you, remain in your integrity, stay in your authenticity, be who you truly are, warts and all, right? No matter what it is, you know, about you, even if it's something that you're embarrassed about, now is the time to allow yourself to be seen like never before. That's the thing about the King of Wands. He always wants you to be on that wider world stage. He wants you to be seen exactly as you are. I'm going to pull another card for that as well. It's got the Eight of Pentacles. So when it comes to our work, when it comes to our careers and our professions, this is asking for authenticity. It's asking for truth. When you've got the Eight of Pentacles with the King of Wands as well, what is it that you have been telling yourself you would get to work on in your life? What is it that you had been telling yourself? Maybe, you know, maybe you've bought a course on A, B, and C, and you've never actually gone through the process of doing the study or the work behind it. Now is the time to get started on that. Whatever it is that you've been telling yourself, I'm going to do that, and you haven't done it, this is the time for you to get started with it. For the insight cards this week, I'm pulling more just because I realise that this week is going to be, it's going to be a bit gnarly for everybody. So I wanted to try and just give a little more, right? And we've got the King of Cups. So 2 kings in the tarot, you've probably heard me talk about this. 2 kings in the tarot represents minor council. So this week it looks like a lot of us are going to be reaching out, sharing ideas, sharing stories, building communities, becoming part of communities. I think this is going to be a week where a lot of people are seeking either guidance or solace in something outside themselves. And it's really, really important that if you are going to do that, these are people of integrity. These are people that are going to tell you what you need to hear as opposed to what you'd like to hear. Now, as an insight card, the King of Cups, and it's right underneath the Star card and the Magician card. I think we're going to see something on the wider world stage to do with the medical profession this week. It's very likely that we could see something coming out about mental health. It may even be as well something coming out, you know, in terms of like the vaccine and all of the rest of that sort of stuff. So it's going to be an interesting week in that regard. And then finally, we have the Two of Cups. This is a week to really, right? This is a week actually more than ever to figure out who your people actually are. Remember, the Two of Cups is about connections, but it's about true connections, heartfelt connections, the kind of connections that really, resonate with you at a soul level, that allow you to be yourself, but also encourage you to be yourself. The kinds of connections that are loving, caring, warm, open, honest. You know, the Two of Cups on top of the King of Cups as well. There's an energy here because this is about what's coming in or what it is that we're actually looking toward. This stuff is about how we're getting there or the process of what we're doing to get there. And interestingly enough, the Two of Cups is about forging connections that actually mean something. But the King of Cups is about having the emotional intelligence to know, am I seeking this connection, group, you know, collaboration, whatever? Am I seeking this because it's good for me and it resonates with me, or am I seeking it from all of the old places within me that are not as healed as I would like them to be? This week is going to be revealing for so many people in so many different ways. With that said, you know, I absolutely love each and every one of you. Reach out in the comments. I think this would be a week definitely to not be alone. This would be a week to, you know, you don't have to bare your soul in the comments, but this is a week where if you are feeling it, if you are struggling it, first of all, remember this is your motto this week: be like water. Right? I'm not talking about being a doormat. I'm not talking about letting people walk all over you. I'm talking about allowing yourself to move into that space of acceptance. As soon as you do, and I can attest to this, I can tell you, right? I can attest to this feeling because there are moments in my life where I have done this. One of which was a very, very dark and a very, very low and lonely point in my life. And the moment I accepted exactly how I felt, oh my gosh, I cannot tell you, I literally felt my chest expand and I was like, all right, I'm going to make it. I'm going to survive this, right? And so I know this to be true. Now, without getting, you know, totally off topic and into a 50-minute video, reach out to each other. The comments are there for a reason. I will be popping in and out as I always do. And again, I just want to say thank you all so much. Have an amazing week. Have the best week as you possibly can. Remember to check in with people. Remember to reach out to people. And ultimately, remember to be like the water. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care, and I'll see you soon.